Welcome to ASTRO NEET.
Shows what you know, smarty pants.
So what happens now? What are you doing? Let me go!
This reminds me. What's it like outside?
Just who the hell do you think I am, fuzzball?
Balls to the Wall Media. Stories that seemingly don't have a meticulously written deep plot, but still allow the audience to feel the emotions that the creators have put into their work. I personally think that as a whole, the quote-unquote genre is underrated, and I want to try to persuade any naysayers that might think that these stories are poorly written or subpar pieces of media. This might be because from the outside, they don't appear to be very grounded in reality or follow a logical narrative. I think that they're great and deserve to be perceived as significant stories despite their somewhat random or nonsensical style of storytelling. What is balls to the wall media? This might be hard to answer because there's not a clear-cut definition since a lot of these stories differ here and there. But I think that it could be boiled down to stories that deliver feelings of excitement, exhilaration, and hype without having to build it up with a masterfully written plot. They don't need a plan in order to do so, they just do it. A typical story is like planning out a day at the amusement park in order to ensure a fun day, while a balls to the wall story is like running into the amusement park and doing everything that you want in the moment, also having fun. Typical stories can have a clear, well thought out grand message that it intends to show to the viewer, while balls to the wall stories often have a simple message or no message at all, and the viewers can extract one themselves based on how they perceived it. I keep calling it balls to the wall media, but that's just something I call it. If there's an actual smart person term for it, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep calling it balls to the wall media.
Come on, Dandy, don't just pretend to listen. We really need your input on this one.
You listen! Life comes at you fast, just like a raging current. I don't fight it. Going against the flow just means you're swimming in place. One day you're too tired to paddle, and suddenly you drown. Whole thing was pointless, and now you're dead at the end. No, going with the flow is where it's at. And that's the dandy way to live.
Space Dandy, one of my favorite shows, and at one point I was adamant that it was my favorite show, but these days I just like what I like. Space Dandy was a show directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, and look at this guy. Dude, he knows what he's doing. He's directed great shows like Samurai Champloo or Cowboy Bebop, which I'm sure you've heard of. Anyway, Space Dandy was a trip. Each episode was different, and it felt like the creators had a pass and the budget to just make whatever the hell they wanted. Some episodes were funny, some were sad, some were hype, some were mysterious, and some were about booze. This show had no ounce of realism at all, and it didn't have an Oscar-winning story either. But you jumped into each episode only to get blindsided by what they wanted to show you this time. Dandy could be searching for the universe's greatest ramen in one episode, then come to terms with his mortality in the next, or attend a huge alien prom, or become God. This episodic nature coupled with beautiful animation makes me love this show so much. Each episode you can feel the creators pour their thoughts into this show. Anything goes, just go. And you sit there and absorb all of it, kind of bewildered at what you're seeing, only to be left wondering what the hell do they have in store for me next. Space Dandy is just about a guy in space doing space stuff, and I think that's an accurate enough description as far as the story goes. Now you probably see what I'm talking about. Balls to the wall media, instead of telling you straight up what it's about, it just kind of emits this energy and exudes the emotions from the creators. So you kind of just figure out what it's about all by yourself. It's not looking at you and pointing at itself, presenting you something. It's just existing whether you're there or not, doing its own thing, and you're observing it live its life. While Space Dandy, in my opinion, didn't really have a uniform message to deliver overall, simple messages can be found in the quote-unquote genre as well. Gurren Lagann tells you to overcome impossible obstacles using cool shit like mechas that transcend human perception, imagery that portrays power and bravery against the odds, and boo. Watching Gurren Lagann will make you want to do the impossible and break the unbreakable even if you're unsure of yourself. Just do it anyways and pierce the heavens. but it never really says that to your face in plain sight. Just watching it will give you a shot of adrenaline, all while being a simple, easy to follow story with impactful, solid emotions that inspire or motivate you. The same could be said about Fooly Cooly, the uncertainty of growing up and the struggle to maintain or even understand your own personality, all while never outright saying it. And that's just my own perception of what those two shows meant. Anyone else could watch it and perceive it completely differently from me. That's the beauty about these types of stories. You can infer a meaning from them, but at the end of the day, who's to say that they're even saying anything at all? Being so open-ended allows these shows to invoke a sense of self-reflection in a way because you fill in the blanks yourself, and it can affect how we choose to live our lives based on that. Letting the audience come up with their own conclusion will give it a sense of investment and ownership, making it more memorable and significant. But that doesn't really speak for everything. Sometimes balls to the wall could mean shut your brain off and look at cool shit. When I watch Pacific Rim, I just want to see giant robots fight giant monsters. And when I watch Redline, I just want to see crazy cars from the future race against each other in deadly blood-pumping races. And when I watch King Kong vs. Godzilla, I just want to see a big monkey punch a big lizard. That's it. The plot is just an afterthought. It's a vehicle, a tool to show you the goods, and the writers know that, so you should know that too. No need to be critical about the story. And I want to mention more stuff too. Kill la Kill, Dandadan, Blood Blockade, Battlefront, all of these are incredible pieces of real art that evoke real emotions in the audience. Is there a message or a meaning? Is there not? Does it even matter if you can find one? The next time you run into these types of shows, maybe give it a chance, and it could be more thought-provoking than you thought. All in all, if you're someone who was put off by that kind of thing, try to see beyond what you perceive from the outside, which in the end can really only give you a positive outcome. Being too harsh on a story can wall off things that you could potentially enjoy, but being more open-minded towards it can lead to you just being happier in general. So maybe give these stories a shot. Trying any that I've mentioned can be a good starting point. Or maybe I didn't manage to convince you enough, and I guess that's okay too. This was my first time organizing my thoughts into a video like this, so hopefully you guys could get what I was going for, or I could have just been yapping the whole time. Did this video do well at making you think about the subject, or did I just sound dumb the whole time? Let me know in the comments, please. Bye.
I'll see you in the same place next time on ASTRO NEET.